Considering home security? Consider this. For 140 years, ADT has helped stop more crime than any other home security company. The yard sign isn't just a sign, it's a line in the sand. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes. Visit ADT.com to learn more. For license information and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
The room is full.
Yeah,
our room runneth over with a variety of people. And on our set now, we are delighted to be joined by Damien Woody, who I hope knows what he's getting himself into today. I sort of followed the way this worked out.
He got bullied into this by my wife.
I got bullied. Christine, your wife bullied me on the way to Bristol. And, of course, I'm not going to back down. I don't think it was a bullying.
I saw the tweet. So to set the stage for everybody here, Golic and Golic Jr. and Trey Wingo are doing the Carolina Reaper Pepper Challenge, the one-chip challenge.
Chip challenge, yeah.
Towards the end of this hour. 45 minutes from now, live here on ESPN2 and ESPN Radio. You want to watch this if you can. And we got to sign waivers and consent forms and all this sort of thing because legal has no sense of humor.
None.
And you tweeted something at Golic relative to what he was saying about the Giants, which I'm going to get you to in a second. And I saw this exchange take place. Mike's wife, Chris, tweeted at you, hey, are you getting in on the Carolina Reaper Pepper Challenge? And the next thing you know, you're in and you don't even know what it is.
I don't know. I didn't know. But I'm not going to let somebody bully me. And if you're in, Mike Jr.'s in, Trey's in, then hell, I'm in.
Have you seen anybody do this chip challenge?
I saw Shaq do it.
Okay.
He held up admirably, but man, he folded like a metal chair.
After a little while, he melted like what?
I'm betting on myself here.
Okay.
I'm betting on myself.
So now it seems not only are the 4 of us doing a chip challenge, but it seems there's going to be a competition as who can handle it the best as well.
So what are we judging this thing on? Like, if someone starts, like, tearing up?
Well, I would
like,
say if you throw up, you're out.
Okay.
And that's not out of the question.
And we saw a clip where somebody on a news team threw up.
Ooh.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
And then
she tried to wash it down with coffee.
Yeah.
And that was a huge mistake.
We're going to wash it down with milk.
We got milk?
We have
milk over there.
Milk.
Okay.
So anyway, that's coming up towards the end of this hour. You want to be watching if you can. In the meantime, what actually begat this whole thing was Mike's very strong take on the New York Giants. So I want to play Josina Anderson's report again because this is 3 hours ago that we were having this conversation, and then D. Wood will let you give your thoughts here. This was Josina Anderson, and you will hear it directly from her with what she has heard from several players inside the struggling New York Giant locker room.
There was a Giants player who wishes to remain anonymous, reached out to me and said this unsolicited at the time, this being last week, saying, quote, McAdoo has lost his team. He's got us going 80% on Saturday before we get on the plane to play a game. It's wild. Changed our off day. He's dishing out fines like crazy. Suspended 2 of our stars when we need them the most. Throws us under the bus all the time. He's run us into the ground, and people wonder why we've been getting got. And then I also heard from another Giants player who said unsolicited, guys are giving up on the season and nothing's being done. Guys just don't care anymore.
All right, so that was Josina this morning. Golic, if you could, and you'll never reach the crescendo that you did 3 hours ago, but what were your general thoughts?
To me, it's an embarrassment if you're a player giving out an anonymous quote like that, saying and putting all the responsibility on somebody else. I mean, where's the responsibility of wearing the hat? You're 1-7. Okay, you're playing bad. Do I think that coach is going to be there next year? No, I do not. Do I think it is a bit of chaos in the locker room? Yes, I do. A, you don't say it if you're in the locker room. You don't talk outside the family, outside the locker room. And then B, are you kidding me? You sit there and you blame it. You make it sound like, oh, you had to run a little more. He's fining us. He's not at halftime. He doesn't give a solution or something. You're still on the field and can affect the play. Do something about it. Have a little bit of personal pride instead of pointing away at you, put the thumb at you. I'd have a little more respect, not much because I hate the anonymous quote, of at least saying, you know what, it's chaos here. I don't think the coach is a good leader. We all need to take responsibility. We're all failing in some part when the record is that bad. But we didn't get that. We didn't. We got a player pointing the finger at the coach and saying basically, it's his fault we're a mess, and in my opinion, he's doing it as a cowardly act to cover up for what he's not getting done on the field. Or a couple of people are not getting done on the field like, hey, you see us playing bad out there. It ain't on us. It's on the coach. He's lost control of this team. You have had a couple of players, Dominique Rogers-Cromartie and Landon Collins, who have come out and in defense of McAdoo, saying it's not as bad as this person makes it sound. The one thing, Damien, that really, really hacks me is the one player that where does he say? Where he said the other anonymous player also said Wednesday, I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to tell it like it is, and it's terrible, man. Oh, is that the way you keep it 100? By hiding behind the anonymous and not giving your name? You want to keep it 100? Be man enough, stand up, state your name, and say you got a problem with what's going on. That's keeping it 100, not the cowardly 20 that you're given, not the 100. That aggravates the hell out of me.
How can I possibly top that? That's
I didn't mean to get that aggravated.
That was pretty epic rant. But I agree with everything you said. To me, it sounded like front-running type of guy.
Yeah.
Same coach last year. They went 11-5. Yep. Everything was great. Everybody was good last year. Partying up New York. Had the whole city at his feet. All of a sudden, the tides have turned, and now all of a sudden, people want to throw all these anonymous quotes out there. I agree 100%. When it's bad, that's the time to step forward and be like, you know what? I have to do better. My teammates have to do better. But when you start throwing people on the bus, to me, that's the sign of your character. That's the sign of the character that's in that locker room. Hell, I would like to see those guys show 80% of effort on the field, because when you watch the Giants play, I mean, all you see is people just mailing it in. I mean, the effort. And the one play that just keeps sticking out of my mind was last week against the Los Angeles Rams. Third and 33, you throw a little simple screen pass, and Robert Woods just takes off for the end zone. I mean, you kidding me? 3rd and 33, you know that type of play is coming, because what offensive coordinator is going to – what type of play can you possibly call?
There is no play in a play.
And you take a simple screen pass to the house. To me, that summarizes what the Giants have been about this whole season.
So we have all of that, and I agree with what both of you said. And again, to be clear, none of us are criticizing the reporting. You have to use anonymous quotes. Anonymous sourcing has been a part of and will be a part of journalism until the end of time. The point is, if you are an anonymous source and you are deep throat because or you're someone who's bringing down, you're pointing out something extraordinarily dangerous that's happening in the world, now you're a whistleblower, and that's heroic. If you're in a locker room and you're trying to point the finger at the coach anonymously, then I agree with you completely. It's a cowardly act. So I think you guys are right. That said, I believe it. I mean, I believe what these guys are saying, right? That it is that bad on the inside. Mm-hmm. So the question then, D. Wood, is if we believe that McAdoo isn't going to be back and we believe that Jerry Reese may not be back, the real interesting question is, will Eli Manning be back next year? What do you think?
I think that's an interesting question. The Giants at some point has to start looking towards the future. You drafted the kid Webb, I think last year in the third round. At what point do you start looking at him? As great as Eli Manning has been, at some point you have to start looking towards the future. And listen, I get it. Eli Manning has won 2 Super Bowls. He's been a 2-time Super Bowl. He's a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. He's going to go down, as probably the best quarterback in Giants football history. There's no question about it. But, Mike, as you know, the game of football starts with no one. And the Giants organization, they're going to have to look at Davis Webb or whoever they draft early in the upcoming draft. So I think Eli Manning, if I'm the Giants, you got to take a hard look at probably moving on from Eli Manning after this year. We
had the reports out there that they were told, the scouting department, to look at these college quarterbacks, and scout them heavily, see what kind of grade you're going to get on them. I'm with you there. It seems the only one beating Father Time is going to be Tom Brady.
That's the only one.
At this point.
It does beg the question, Mike, if Eli Manning in the right circumstance right now, what exactly is he? If he goes to a good team that's a quarterback away, is he that quarterback still at 37, which he'll be next year?
Well, I mean, I still think it would be better than the unproven. I mean, in Jacksonville, I don't think Blake Bortles is going to be the quarterback next year. So you have a top defense right now. You have a running back who is just ready to take over the league. Your offensive line is getting better. So are you going to put a young new quarterback there and say, okay, we have to let this guy develop? Or are you going to say, you know what? We got a lot of pieces right now. Let's get ourselves a veteran. I don't think Eli is like we're saying, oh, my God, let's hope he can hold it together with tape and duck wire or duct tape and wire.
Right.
I still think he's a quarterback that can get the job done, and I think that's the type of quarterback you'd want for a team like that.
Yeah, he's not a guy that he's not an Aaron Rodgers where he can put a franchise on your back. But I think in the right circumstance, he can absolutely take you to the next level. And you talked about Jacksonville. They got all the ingredients there. They got a great defense. They got skill guys. They got a rushing attack. You insert a veteran quarterback who's won big time in the National Football League. That team could be scary if they were to get a quarterback like Eli.
It would be odd to move on from Eli. We saw this with Peyton, but that was injury related. I mean, that was 4 neck surgeries, and he's just not going to get it done anymore. This is Eli, who can still be productive, who you're basically saying, we're done with you.
Right.
We're done with you, and we're moving on. Personally, I don't think they're going to do it. I think Eli is still going to be there, but it's not like I wouldn't understand if all of a sudden they want to see what they have in Webb and they want to see what kind of grading system they would have for the quarterbacks coming out.
I will say this, and you're listening to Mike and Mike here on ESPN Radio. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And don't forget, about a half hour from now, the One Chip Challenge, which should be extraordinarily amusing to watch. The one thing that the Giants do decide to stay with Eli, that they have, is the best thing you can have, which is a super high draft pick in a quarterback-rich draft, and they don't want a quarterback. If they decide they're not going to take Josh Rosen or Josh Allen or Darnold if he comes out or whoever it is, you can get, history has shown recently, you can get a king's ransom for that. So they should be able to put together a huge package, a treasure trove of draft picks if they decide not to go that route. The question is that worth it? Is it worth it to hang on to a 37-year-old and try and get, one more year, one run at it? If we get Odell back and all these guys who are hurt come back, is it 1 year at it?
I think, Damien, because of the money they put in that defense, which 2 years ago was really good,
right,
and can you still get something out of that defense? You're going to sign Odell. You have to sign Odell. So he's one of the best receivers in the league. You got to get your running game going. I think you're at a point where you can make another run. And are you doing that with a new quarterback? Are you doing that with Davis Webb, if you like what you see out of him, or a drafted quarterback? I think while you have some of the pieces in place, you still continue to make that run.
I think the one area, and we've constantly talked about with the Giants, is the line. You got to get – if you can somehow get the line situated and straightened out, then I think in that scenario, I can see Eli being there and they making that one final push. Because like you said, in free agency a couple years ago, they brought all those guys in on defense, and they were really, really good.
Yep.
The only thing I'll say is if you believe, and Mike, to your point, we had the story yesterday that their top scouts have been dispatched to look at these quarterbacks. If you believe that Josh Rosen or Josh Allen or Mason Rudolph or Lamar Jackson or the kid at Oklahoma's name just jumped out of my head who's going to win the Heisman, Baker Mayfield. If you believe one of those guys is going to be a superstar quarterback, then you take him. Yeah. Because you're looking at a maximum of 2 more years of Eli, no matter what happens.
Yeah, I think
you take him.
You'll always hear that if you think it's a franchise guy.
You got to take him.
Even if he has to sit, and wait.
I mean, if that's what you decide to do, that's what you decide to do.
I would agree with that.
But I mean, look at the Packers have been a Super Bowl contender every year for 30 years because they went from Favre to Rodgers. I know they've only won it twice, but they've been there constantly, and that's because they've had the quarterback. All right, D. Wood, let's go on to some other stuff that we see around the league here. What was and he apologized yesterday. What was your take on Jameis Winston and his little provocative action on the sideline that led to Mike Evans racing over and defending him and ultimately led to Evans getting suspended?
Just immature. He needs to grow up. To me, that's the biggest thing. I mean, listen, you're the quarterback. You're the CEO of the franchise. You can't be sitting around monkeying around. I don't know what pointing or, instigating or whatever the case may be. Jameis has to understand, and listen, I think Jameis can be a really, really good quarterback in the National Football League. But I think on the behavior side and understanding what your role is as the quarterback of a franchise, the face of a franchise, you can't be participating in those type of things. You just can't. You have to worry. You have to be focused on what's going on in the game. I could see somebody who's on special teams, messing around doing something. But the quarterback, I don't know how many times I've seen a quarterback ever do something like that on the sideline. So if there's one thing that I can point to about Jameis, it's the immaturity. He needs to step that aspect of his maturation up to realize his potential as an NFL quarterback.
I can't think of another franchise quarterback out there that would have done or has done something like that. And you remember on Hard Knocks watching, you heard Dirk Cutter say it's time for you to be the Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, not talent-wise yet, but of this team. You are. You've heard Gerald McCoy, their great Pro Bowl defensive lineman, said this team runs through Jameis. It's his team. And there's a big responsibility to that. And on the field, he's just got to keep slinging it. He's going to throw his interceptions. I don't think that's going to change.
Right.
But you'd rather see 35 touchdowns to go with the number of interceptions that he has. So he needs to get to that point. But that other stuff, and he's admitted, so now he admitted it, but now the actions will speak louder than the words. How will he act going forward?
Let me read you his apology, because he did yesterday. He said, I just want to apologize on behalf of my teammates and Mike Evans for the incident that happened in the Saints game. That's something I can't do. In the heat of the moment, again, my competitive nature, obviously I can't come onto the field and make any gesture toward an opponent, let alone touch him, so I can't do that, so I apologize for that. So he apologized.
A lot of that had to do when you're losing, stuff like this happens. When you're winning, you have a totally different mindset.
Well, they're certainly doing a lot of losing. Let's talk about some teams that are doing a bunch of winning. Let's talk about the Eagles. You watch them play right now. What is it that stops them? They don't seem to have, in a league where there are no great teams. Well, hold on. What don't the Eagles have? What is it they're missing that separates them from being a great team?
Man, it's really hard. When you look at the Eagles, all around, they're very good. The thing that I love about the Eagles, listen, obviously Carson Wentz right now, he could be, people talking about him as the MVP and probably the likely front runner. I love the way they play in the trenches on both sides of the ball. They get after you on the offensive and on the defensive front. Boy, they get after the quarterback. They really do. They stop the run, and once they stop the run, they just flat out get after you. That type of football can take you all the way to Minneapolis to the Super Bowl. The quarterback is playing fantastic. The Eagles made a bold move in trading for Jay Ajayi to show up that rushing attack. But defensively, man, they can really get after the quarterback. When you have all those components working in your favor, it's a very scary team.
I agree. I think it's the line. A lot of these teams a lot of the team is great, but these lines, that's where it has to be dictated. Fletcher Cox is just
amazing.
Absolutely dominating on the inside of that interior offensive lineman that he's dominating. And that O-line, Kelsey's undersized. Wisniewski wasn't supposed to be the starter when the season started. You've lost Jason Peters now for the year, yet guys that are filling in, guys that are getting the job done. They're not an overly large. A couple of those guys aren't overly large, but they're getting it done right now. It's been really impressive.
Here's my favorite statistic of the entire week in the NFL. Last week, the Eagles faced the number one scoring defense in the league, and they ran out of fireworks. The Eagles literally ran out of fireworks. They had none left to shoot off because they had scored so many points, and that was against the Denver Broncos, who had given up the fewest points of any team in the league. So if we look for the team to challenge them in the NFC, is it, don't look now, but the Los Angeles Rams, behind Jared Goff and the rejuvenated Todd Gurley and, a little bit of a rough, tough defense and a 31-year-old head coach? Is that the next team in the NFC?
They're fun to watch. They're a fun bunch to watch. It's amazing what coach can do for you. You're talking about a guy in Jared Goff last year that a lot of people, was talking about being a bust. And, early in his career, and Sean McVay comes over, young guy, a lot of energy. Obviously, coached with Kyle Shanahan and Jay Gruden. So he's really coached up Jared Goff, and that offense looks explosive. Man, that team, they're a scary team, but I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Dallas Cowboys right now are playing really, really good football. Dak Prescott is playing at a super high level, and Zeke is just showing out.
So we're going to find out.
He's just showing out. Yeah, they're in the same division. Something's got to give.
Well,
something's got to give.
The first thing we got to find out is going to give, is he going to be there?
Right, exactly.
That's a huge thing just hanging over their head week after week.
It's I just want this whole thing to be resolved, because it seems like one week the league wins, the next week, at some point, let's get this thing resolved. So, for the Cowboys' sake, they know what they know what they have moving forward and can plan accordingly. But Dallas is playing some really good football right now.
And speaking of the Cowboys and needing to get something resolved, you're obviously aware of these stories here about Jerry Jones, and he's trying to stage like a coup against Roger Goodell before Goodell gets his contract extension, which is theoretically on the table now or could be extended to him any minute. We had Shefty in here talking about it. As a former player and one who observes this, what is your take?
Jerry Jones reminds me of his mentor, Al Davis. He's like a maverick type guy. He's always kind of bucked the trend. And I heard you guys talking about earlier, from when Jerry Jones first became owner of the Dallas Cowboys, some of the things, unconventional things he did as far as marketing that made the Dallas Cowboys a bunch of money and obviously propelled them to kind of America's team, the most popular franchise in the league. But this it just reminds me of Al Davis. Al Davis used to challenge the league all the time, and obviously he was a mentor to Jerry Jones. And again, to me, this whole thing is about money. This whole thing is about money, and when the bottom line is getting messed with, heads going to roll. Yeah. People going to start looking at, well, who can I point the finger as to why my bottom line is going down, and the number one person is going to be Roger Goodell.
Greeny, I'm with you. I think we both agree. We think Goodell's going to get the extension, that competition committee is going to serve that up. And then I do think the biggest question is what happens next. Jerry Jones is very loud right now. What happens when he doesn't get his way? Will he stop?
For what it's worth, according to Forbes, the Cowboys are the most valuable sports franchise in the world, valuated at $4.2 billion.
And that's Jerry Jones. That's Jerry Jones.
That's
without
all
question. Yep.
All right, D. Wood is going to be here with us as the hour continues, and Mikey Golic Jr. is here, and Trey is on the way. Again, in about 20 minutes or thereabouts, these guys are going to do the one-chip challenge, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I know for sure two things. A, I'm not doing it, and B, I'm looking forward to watching it, and you should too.
Hey, everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Mike and Mike podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS, consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Computer, execute 12.4p operation.
Optimizing algorithm. Running encryption packet alpha 990. I don't feel so good.
What is it, computer?
Is it hot in here? It feels hot in here. I feel a little clammy. I should lie down or something.
A computer with a virus? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Those oysters Rockefeller were a mistake.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
All right, we're Mike and Mike. Tomorrow at this time, we'll have Tim Tebow on the program talking about what's going on with Florida and the big games on the college schedule this weekend. We are now rejoined by Mike Golic Jr. and Damien Woody. They're both here because in about 20 minutes, a little less, more like 12 minutes, these two, plus you, Golic, plus Trey Wingo, are all going to take part in this one-chip challenge. Again, I don't know why.
I don't know why either. We just showed some highlights of Shaq doing it, Travis Kelce, Greg Olsen. I know, Mike, you saw some of the Pittsburgh Steelers that had done it as well. So I don't know why we're doing it. Quite honestly, I have no idea why we're doing it.
I have people like on Twitter. I have people on Twitter literally trying to talk me out of it. Like, dude, you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Here's the reason I knew of this, and Mikey, because when you guys did, when your dad lost the wager to Jamel on the Michigan State Notre Dame game of last year, you had to do the Ghost Pepper Challenge.
Right.
And so at that time, I remember doing a little research and discovering that isn't actually the spiciest pepper in the world. The spiciest pepper is the Carolina Reaper pepper. And that name just kind of sticks in your head because it's a cool name.
Sounds nice.
That's what this is. That's what you guys are doing today. How do you feel?
You know what? I felt a lot better before. So Hembo's parents are in house, and they brought a bunch of goodies with them. So I've had like 3 brownies, a couple of cookies, a fair amount of hummus, some coffee.
The hummus is delicious.
Do we think that is going to help now? Yeah, again,
no, it's not going to help. It's going to hurt.
So Hembo's family, Dad Danny and Susan, the mom, Maria and Grace, the sisters are here. The family's here, and
we call them Father Hembo, Mother Hembo, Sister Hembo, and Sister Hembo.
But they brought an incredible amount of treats for this. So I don't know if it was a good idea to put a base down of all that, or if that's just going to come back later.
Like I'm working on an empty stomach.
Wow.
So I'm like really nervous about this right now.
We got a lot of controls up here. Like we're going to see, does full stomach help you? Does empty stomach help you?
Yeah. We're
going to answer a lot of questions
here. Group right now.
So we're looking forward to that, and again, we'll do it in a moment. Mike and Mike, by the way, want to mention that we have good college football action tonight. Carolina taking on Pitt. It's presented by the 2018 Ford F-150. The coverage starts 7 Eastern here on ESPN Radio, ESPNradio.com, and on the ESPN app. A quick note, and I think it will tee up our next subject. The NBA ratings last night were unbelievably good. Mm-hmm. And we had good games last night on ESPN, and we did a lot of promotion. I know that the Countdown crew was there in Boston for Lakers-Celtics. But Lakers-Celtics did a 2.11 last night. That's a regular season NBA game in November. Did an over a 2 rating. By comparison, last year, a similar game in a similar time slot did a rating less than a 1. And then the late game last night, Minnesota Golden State, without KD, did a 176. I point this out to illustrate that the NBA just feels as though it's in an ascent right now. They're in a sweet place. They're in a sweet spot. Mikey, you made this point earlier. They feel like they are right now kind of where the NFL was at one time. They also have a little something to fall back on that football has never had, which is they have an international, global presence. Basketball is a global sport, whereas American football is not. It's not what the rest of the world thinks of as football. But as we sit back and we look at what's going on right now with the NFL, where the latest thing is Jerry Jones versus Roger Goodell, but obviously all year long it's been about the protests and the national anthem, and before that all the conversation was about CTE, and before that all the conversation was about domestic violence. It has just been a seemingly never-ending barrage of bad news, and I think we are seeing all of that right now having a significant impact on the sport.
I think the bottom line is the NFL is not going to fold.
No.
Is the NFL going to lose money? If they lose money, how much money are they going to lose? And probably the most important question, Damien, let me start with you, is can they get it back? Can they get back to where they were as basically this Teflon, nothing sticks to them, where now some things are starting to stick to them?
I think that's a great question, and I have reasons to doubt that will happen because of the nature of the game. It's a very violent game, and you look at it from a grassroots level. I mean, there are people out there that won't allow their kids to play football, and I think when you have this perception that it's just with the CTE and that's a violent game, and kids starting to kind of go in different directions as far as the sports that they're playing, I think you're going to start taking a little, some hits. But I don't see NFL anytime soon coming off the perch as the king of the hill.
Yeah, I'm with Damien. It's never going to be what it once was because our appetite for violence as a larger consumption base is never going to be what it once was. We know too much now. People are accustomed to seeing a lot of their stars suffer on the back end of this. So the NFL for the first time in a long time is going to have to be proactive. Like the NFL and the owners have gotten to sit there on top of their pile of gold coins and sort of just let everything come to them. And for the first time, they've got to have some strategy going forward of, all right, how are we going to get out ahead of this stuff? How are we going to make sure that when people think word association with the NFL, it's not CTE and it's not domestic violence and it's not all of these different things that have really started to pop up in the Google search for the NFL as a league. Like, how do we start to take back that and spin it forward into the way the NBA's done, to where it's a positive, fun, enjoyable conversation?
Well, and you know what? And the one thing, that's something that the NFL is really not good at, being proactive. The NFL is very reactive, especially when it came to like domestic violence and so on and so forth. They just reacted to like the Ray Rice video, and then they instilled these policies, and I could use a lot of other examples as well. So I think that's the new challenge for the NFL is how do we try to get ahead of these type of issues?
I agree, and I'll use the analogy of Notre Dame. And years ago, when Notre Dame was in the hunt every year, I'm talking, years ago. We know the last title was in '88, and then my brother's team won in '77. They won in '73. In those years, that dome recruited itself, right? You could be a top playing tight end in the country, and Notre Dame could have an All-American tight end sophomore, and that top guy in the country is going to say, I'm going to Notre Dame. I'm still going to Notre Dame. The dome would kind of recruit itself. Notre Dame can't do that anymore. They haven't won a title since '88. They got in the championship game when you and Jake were there in 12. I get that, but no title since '88. They have to go out, and the dome ain't recruit now. You got to go out and work for it now. So I think you used a good word, Mike, in strategy going forward. The NFL, I'm sure there's always strategy, but they never really had to concern themselves too much with that because anything they did was successful. Big hit. Oh, let's make a reel out of it. Let's do this. And it all worked. But now it's all changing a little bit to where they have to almost re-strategize a bit to try and get back to where they were.
If I had to give you my honest opinion, and all of these things that we've talked about are issues, but if I had to pick the one thing that is impacting them the most, it is that they lost track of the single most important rule of show business, which is ultimately what they are, and that is always leave them wanting more. There's too much of it. One of the things that made football so great was that there was so little of it. You couldn't wait for it. You were dying for it. Now it's everywhere. It's around us at all times, and maybe that's a function of the world in which we live. But there's a game on Thursday night, and there's 100 games on Saturday, all college, but still it's football. And then you got Sunday, all day long Sunday, including sometimes 9:30 in the morning in London, and then there's a game Sunday night, and there's a game Monday night. And at some point, you've actually seen enough.
I don't know how we can have that conversation. And I get that this has been a recent change maybe with the NBA where we're so focused. But when it's good, we don't care how much of it there is.
I agree with that.
Now, when the product suffers and we think, all right, Golden State, Cleveland's inevitable, then we start talking about how 82 games is too many and all the back-to-backs and 4 and 5 and all that stuff. But right now, we're not moaning about it. We're saying, look what ratings these games on Wednesday night did and the games at 10 o'clock on Wednesday night did. They got doubleheaders. If it's good, we'll take more of it. The problem is the NFL's got a bunch of hurt backup quarterbacks in there right now and a product that people have generally soured on because the public sentiment is so down.
Okay, so we've got a variety of different perspectives on that, and it's all well and good. But up next, let's just do something disgusting. So I see Wingo. He's here. We're going to have to sign. We're going to sign.
Let's go!
We got to sign these waivers. So if there's one thing, Trey, you're going to have to learn over the years as you do one wacky stunt after another going forward, as I've been doing here for 18 years, it's that legal has no sense of humor whatsoever. So we have been given waivers. You guys have been given waivers,
have you
consent
signed yours,
forms.
Golic?
No, I
We're going
haven't.
to sign them live on the air like they were letters of intent, and I guess in some ways they are.
Yeah.
And then it'll be nobody's problem but yours what happens after that. But then these four are going to do the one chip challenge. Don't miss it. It's coming up live next, right here on Mike and Mike.
God.
Wait a minute, hold on.
They told me I'm here. So
All right, we are Mike and Mike, and our Sports Center is brought to you by CT Shirts. Time to upgrade your wardrobe with CT Shirts, the most exquisitely crafted, British-styled, crease-free shirts you'll ever wear. One CT shirt normally costs $100, but we'll get you 3 for just $99. Go to ctshirts.com/Mike. That's ctshirts.com/Mike. Okay, here we go. All of you with us on ESPN2, you're seeing it. Golic has just removed the gloves.
I'm wearing the gloves.
Wow.
That's a stupid
This is hilarious.
You dip your fingers in that sauce?
We saw a video of Shaq, Travis Kelce, Greg Olsen. None of them had gloves on. I'm not wearing the gloves.
Is this because of legal? Is this because of legal?
Yeah, this is straight back illegal.
Some of them did, actually. I'm almost positive Greg Olsen did. But either way, here's what's going to happen. So these guys all have these Carolina Reaper Pepper chips, the one chip challenge. You've seen it all over the place. And these guys are going to do it. Let me read you some quick tweets here. MC tweets, I bet Golic is out in 2 minutes. Robert is tweeting about the milk. Ross tweets, the rule is last person to puke or take a drink of milk is the winner of the challenge.
There are no winners.
Well,
here.
no.
There are no winners. There are only degrees of losing.
So that's fine. So you guys are going to take the L then.
Okay, so if you guys would unwrap your chips, I'm going to step away. I don't want to be anywhere near this.
Just so people know, I'm getting rid of the stunt chips.
You know how cute this is.
Right, here we go.
Wait a minute. It's in a little bag.
Oh, wow.
It comes in a bag in a coffin.
They're in a bag. Yeah, Golic just opened the bag with his mouth, and look at his face.
You are really dumb.
Oh, my God.
You continue to do this stuff dumber than anyone else. Have we eaten them yet?
Look at his face.
So when do we...
Look at Golic's face already. No, we're going to do it all at once. I'm going to give you a countdown.
Oh, man. Yo, it is.
Let's get everybody
that
together.
is pungent.
Dude,
How does it smell?
That's got some sting.
I'm holding it down here.
I can't open.
Are you serious?
How do you guys feel?
Oh, suddenly he's wearing the gloves.
Yeah.
Not such a big man, are
how
you
quick
anymore?
those gloves went on.
All right,
Why does it seem like my chip is way bigger than yours?
well, you just stop.
Listen, you know what? It's all on body mass.
It's not about.
It's not about the size of the chip, all right?
Size of the chip.
All
Okay.
right, we're going to get a 3, 2, 1 from the entire room. Everybody together.
whole
And
chip.
3, 2, 1. There they go. All right, Golic's got his in. D-Wood's got his in. Mikey's got his. Trey's still holding out. Go ahead, Trey. Come on. There he goes. Okay, he's in. Let's see. I will do play-by-play for the radio audience. The television audience on ESPN2 should have a full understanding of what's going on. No problem. Let me duck under the cameras here. And let's see. Golic, how do you feel? Guys, let me hear how you're feeling.
It's gone. The chip is gone.
Yep, it's gone.
Mikey, you look a little out of it.
Chip's gone. Okay.
D-Wood, how about you?
Are you not entertained?
Okay.
I'm good.
Is this now a competition? Who's going for the milk first?
From what I've seen, it hits you later. So I'm feeling all right now.
It's starting to warm up now.
No, it's getting there.
It's starting to warm up. Yo. Oh.
I see Golic's face. Mikey's on the table. Mikey, all right? Don't touch your face. Whatever.
I think
you
I
do,
already
touch your
touched
face.
it. I might go blind.
Golic is going to the milk.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
What's the big deal? What's the big deal?
Did you really eat it, or did you put the
Stunt chips are there.
Oh, how you doing, man?
I think I touched my eye.
Big Wood.
I am good, baby.
They have not gotten near the so far. Mikey has had some milk. Golic, your eyes are very red, very red.
Yeah.
How would you describe what's going on right now?
Yo.
It's heating up a little bit.
You can take off your gloves and then you could touch your face, right? Take the gloves off and then you can touch your face. Mike, the Golics are really dripping now. There's a lot of water coming out of their faces.
It's just it won't stop. It's so hot.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Mikey, yeah. Mikey's almost like wobbling a little. D. Wood is staying strong, and Trey, I don't know what's going
the
on.
big deal? I ask you.
Trey, did you actually eat? Okay, now there we.
No, that was a joke.
Okay,
I'm not going for the milk. I'm not doing it.
I'm taken aback by Trey right now. This is stunning.
I am as well.
Hold on. How about you, D. Wood? You look all right,
Dude, I'm good.
You know what it is? When you breathe, it's still in your mouth.
And Mikey is going to the full container of milk. Golic is eating bread. He's wiping his face with bread. D. Wood, you're hanging in there. Look at Damien Wood. He's just standing strong.
Brother.
No, trust me, my legs are shaking right now.
Mike Golic, Sr., you did that ghost pepper. How does this compare to that?
It's hotter.
This is hotter.
It's hotter. It's hotter.
Again, I ask, what's the big deal?
I don't understand how I don't understand how Trey looks like the way he looks, and the Golics look the way they look.
Hold on a minute.
All right. Are there varying levels of these? Did he get a less?
I did throw away the stunt chips. I want to be clear. But no, I'm all right.
It's impressive. Damien, wow.
Damien, I think I'd like another one.
His eyes are watering.
His eyes are starting to water.
Can I get another one?
He looks like he wants a hug.
I'd like another one.
Trey is asking for another. We can get him another one.
You're a real one, man.
Let me be clear. I'm not that stupid.
Okay, fair enough.
Damien is the realest one I've ever met.
Bro,
talk to me, D-Wood. Tell me how you're feeling right now.
Bro, like, my legs feel like they're about to leave me.
Right?
Okay? I'm holding on strong right now.
Come on, Big Wood. Come on. You got to move. Come on. Come on, baby. You got to move. You got to move. I'm feeling it, baby.
There's part of me that thinks Trey didn't eat it.
I ate the f***ing chip.
Did I swear on air?
Yes, you did.
You did, but you're all right. You did, but you're okay.
Woo. That's what the dump button's for.
Yeah.
Man, that like punched you right in the mouth. I got snot bubbles.
Is it starting to?
It's starting to wear off now.
I think the issue is you never lived through the '90s with Chumbawamba. I get knocked down, I get back up again. Man, that's what it is.
There are paper towels on the floor.
No paper towels.
Is that
no milk.
Is that all they got? That's the best they got.
Come on, baby, let's go.
That's the best they got, huh?
You did it again, by the way. That's twice. Welcome to our future.
It's so hot.
Milk was a bad choice.
Damien and Trey. I am.
I'm a coward.
Are you not entertained?
Golic, talk to me. I'm looking at you.
My mouth is on fire.
What's the matter with you guys?
No. So now the burning's moved on to my eyelids. Like my actual eyelids are on
Your
fire.
eyelids are cinched?
No, the inside of my eyelids.
Damien, I'm taken aback by your reaction. I've never seen anyone have quite as placid a reaction as the one that you're having.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
I'm a Trey as well.
Because of my body mass, I'm able to absorb
So again, can I get a little credit here? Because I'm 1/3 of him.
Yeah, that's true. Trey, explain this to me. How do you guys explain Trey?
Well,
I don't know. I'm amazed at
I went
Trey.
to school in Texas. We ate a lot of jalapenos. In fact, this is a shout out to my guy Dan, my college friend, who would literally order 5 extra jalapenos and eat them just one at a time and would not flinch. This is for him.
The sauce, the other, whatever the heck I ate that last time.
The ghost peppers.
It really went down the gullet. This is just sticking in my mouth and my face. It's on fire.
It's not going away.
Hold on a minute. It's now in my nose.
How was that coating? Because you ate. You guys ate. So how was that holding up?
How did it look like it held up? Not well.
People really threw up because of this?
Many times. Many times. Okay.
Whatever,
well,
dude.
I got to say, everybody, how about a round of applause for this group? It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of courage. Are you going to be all right?
Yeah, I felt that.
Sorry about swearing, Skipper.
What's next? What else you got? Let me just say to the Packy people, as Lawrence Taylor once said to Ken O'Brien when he sacked him as he was mic'd up for a preseason game against the Jets, son, you all got to do better than this.
Oh, wow. Trey Wingo dropping the mic. And we will as well. Thank you, everybody, for spending this morning with us, and we'll see you back and better than ever tomorrow.
Behold the glory!